Hi, I'm Scott Gervin, Crane Application Engineer for Siemens Industry USA. This is the second video introducing our SIMOCRANE basic technology V5.0 for the SINAMICS S120 platform. Here, we will cover some basic speed setpoint functions as well as microspeed and prelimit control. The push-button controller block, available in SIMOCRANE Basic Technology V5.0, makes it possible to specify a fixed or variable setpoint via a simple push-button controller. This block includes 14 inputs that are parameterizable. Set pause direction and set neg direction should correspond to the digital input feedback from the crane controller for the positive and the negative directions of motion. These inputs should be parameterized to match the main drive block inputs MS CMD DIR positive and MS CMD DIR negative. Next, you can parameterize variable speed control for this block by using the increase speed and the decrease speed inputs. When the increase speed input is high, the default speed setpoint parameterized in the speed value 1 input will increase until the increase speed input is low, or the maximum parameterizable speed in the speed limit input is reached. The decrease speed input can be used similarly to decrease the variable speed setpoint of the drive. Users can also parameterize the ramp up and ramp down time of this variable speed in the ramp time INC DEC block input. Finally, you can set static speed setpoints using the speed selection bit 0 through 2 inputs along with the speed value 2 through 4 inputs. The push button controller block will initially receive a set pause direction or set neg direction command and begin moving at the value parameterized in speed value 1. From there, you can step through the parameterizable speeds by setting speed selection bit 0 through 2 to high in ascending order. This will be shown in a live demonstration of the push button controller block. The push button controller block is available within all the pre-configured DCCs available on Siemens Industrial Online Support or SIOS. There is a link below this video to the webpage. To begin setting up this block, all you have to do is run the BTS No PLC app script and select Push Button Controller on the function selection screen. First, the main drive block for the crane must be parameterized. Be careful to parameterize the MS-CMD DIR positive and MS-CMD DIR negative inputs, the same as the set pause direction and set neg direction inputs of the push button controller block. Once the main drive block has been set up, select which digital inputs or PZD bits you would like to use to control the push button controller block. The speed value parameters and the ramp time parameter can also be set up on this screen. Next, you will be prompted to set up the actual position velocity block or APV block. If this block will not be used, you can make the selection shown for the Enable Act POS VEL and Start Homing block inputs. The setup for this block, when it is being utilized, will be covered in a future video. So for now, we'll keep it disabled by making the following selections. Next, you'll be prompted to set up the ramp function generator or RFG block. This block must be completed each and every time you run the script, as this block is crucial to the operation of the drive running smoothly and properly, ramping up and down the motor regardless of which crane functionality is being utilized. You should take care to parameterize the ramp up time in and ramp down time in inputs, as these inputs set the effective ramp times of the motor. You can also parameterize the initial and final rounding times of the ramp function generator block. Minimum ramp and rounding times have been set by default in the min ramp time and min rounding time parameters. You may modify these parameters, however, it is generally suggested that they are not decreased. Finally, choose whether or not to enable continuous smoothing and rounding zero crossover for the ramp function generator block. In this example, these functions are disabled. However, you can enable these features of the ramp function generator as desired when running the script. Once the ramp function generator block has been set up, you'll be shown a summary screen of your selections, and the push button controller function can be used to control the drive. Now, let's look at the master controller block available in SIMOCRANE Basic Technology V5.0. This block makes it possible to use a real data type input, which can be a PZD word or analog input, to generate a speed set point via a user-defined polygon. Like the push button controller block, the master controller block includes several inputs that are parameterizable by the user. During script setup of this block, you are prompted to provide a source for the enable master controller input and the real data type source at the speed set point in input. This input can be an analog input or a PZD word at the specific drive object. The rest of the script should be set up as previously described. Then the master controller block can be utilized as shown. Next, the infinite variable speed, or IVS block, allows for adjusting to any speed between a parameterizable slow speed and max speed in either the positive or negative direction. This block facilitates this control while only requiring a 3-button master switch. During script setup of this block, you parameterize the CMD slow speed up and CMD slow speed down inputs the same as the main drive block MSCMD DIR positive and MSCMD DIR negative inputs respectively. Only one of these inputs should be set high at a time. Each input will ramp the drive up to the speed parameterized in slow speed and the direction specified. When the CMD INC DEC speed input is set high, the drive will ramp up the motor speed to the speed parameterized in max speed. When the CMD INC DEC speed input is set low, the drive will hold the speed set point of the drive constant at the time that the CMD INC DEC speed input was set low. This input is active as long as either the CMD slow speed up or CMD slow speed down is also set high. As soon as the CMD slow speed up or CMD slow speed down input is set low, the drive will begin to ramp down to standstill. During ramp down, if you set the previously high command back to high, the drive will hold the speed of the motor at the time that the up or down command comes back in. Once these parameters are set up within the script, you should be able to complete the rest of the script as previously described and test the infinite variable speed or IVS block like this. Now that we've discussed the three main blocks that can be used to generate speed set points within the drive, here are two additional blocks that can be used to manipulate the speed set point of the drive based on your inputs or switch feedback. The first block is the microspeed block, which is used to scale the speed set point of the drive for precision positioning. Here are the microspeed block's parameterizable inputs. During script setup of this block, you only have to parameterize a Boolean input that enables the microspeed block at n microspeed, as well as a factor input that can range from 0 to 1.0. When n microspeed is high, the speed set in set point is multiplied by the factor input. The resulting speed set point is output on the speed set out output. Once these parameters are set up within the script, you should be able to complete the rest of the script as previously described and test the microspeed block as shown. The last additional block that can be used to manipulate the speed set point of the drive based on switch feedback is the prelimit switch block. It is used to reduce the speed of the drive when a predefined prelimit or limit switch is reached. Here are its parameterizable inputs. During script setup of this block, you only have access to set up the prelimit switch 2 input, as the main drive block only asks for a single pre-limit switch feedback for the positive and negative directions. With that being said, you can still set up and utilize the pre-limit switch 1 input and pre-limit value 1 input via the expert list as shown. The first thing to complete during script setup of the pre-limit switch block is parameterization of the pre-limit switch inputs within the main drive block inputs. The main drive block pre-limit dir positive, pre-limit dir negative, end limit dir negative, and end limit dir positive inputs should reflect the desired Boolean input feedback from limit switches for the crane. These inputs are normally high inputs, or in other words, these inputs should be high while the prelimit or end limit is inactive, and should be low when the prelimit or end limit is active. Thus, if you only want to use a prelimit or an end limit, you can select one during script setup in order to bypass the desired prelimit or end limit while still being able to set up the desired limit. Once the main drive block inputs have been set up, you can parameterize the pre-limit switch block during script setup. You're prompted to set the pre-limit value to and end limit value inputs of the pre-limit switch block, since the actual limit switch feedback signals are already input at the main drive block inputs. Once these parameters are set up within the script, you're able to complete the rest of the script as previously described and then test the pre-limit switch block. Now, you're ready to utilize the basic speed set point functions as well as microspeed and prelimit control that are included in SIMOCRANE BT V5.0. If you'd like more information on SIMOCRANE BTV 5.0, a good place to start is usa.siemens.com/cranes. In our next segment, we will look in deeper detail at the hoist-specific features of the BTV 5.0 software. Please use the link in the description to find our next video in this series.